you doing? This is Teal, and this is another episode of the Bare Essentials. I think we're at number 14. This is an old violin, and it was my mother's violin. And when I was 12 years old in 6th grade, I started playing the violin. I played until college and quit. And then I went to a Chieftains concert with my wife in Santa Rosa, and I was enthralled with Irish music. I don't know, I had never experienced that before. And I determined from that moment I wanted to play Irish music. So I got the violin out of storage, wiped off the dust, put some strings on it, and began to play again. And I guess like the rest is history, I guess is what you say. But I have played for 30 years or so or more since that time, and I've gotten a lot better than I was. Sometimes I can even charge money for playing. I guess that makes me a professional musician, right? You get $5 a tip, and you're now in the realm of the professional. There was a professional cellist by the name of Pablo. I don't remember his last name, but he was born in 1876, and he was a world-renowned cello player. And when he was 81, he was still playing in concerts and practicing, 3 or 4 hours a day. And he was interviewed, and the guy that interviewed asked him a question. He says, "Pablo, why do you still practice so much?" And I don't know if Pablo took a while to think about it, but his answer was, listen to this, "I think I'm making progress." Oh my gosh. The guy is a professional. This is like the best in the world. Why do you practice so much? Well, I think I'm making progress. There's a movie that came out this week or last week. It's called A Million Miles Away. It's a true story about a migrant farm worker named Jose Hernandez who arrived in California as a little boy and who had a dream of becoming an astronaut. It's a true story. You can watch it for yourself. As he got older, he never lost the dream. And eventually, he became an engineer, and I forget all of his credentials. But he had one goal in mind as he went to school, as he spent his day-to-day life, and that was to become an astronaut. He had written applications to NASA for 11 different years, 11 applications once a year, and was rejected every time. The 12th application, he got on a plane and delivered it in person. And he told them, he said, "Well, this is my 12th application. I have been rejected 11 times. And I want you to know, if you ignore this application, I will be back here again next year." The story goes on, and he was accepted into the astronaut program. He flew on the space shuttle, and he spent 13 days on the space station before coming back home. Why do I tell you these 3 stories? The story with me and the violin is a story of inspiration. I saw this music group play, I heard the music, and I said, "Oh, I want to be like that. I want to learn how to play Irish music." And I did. Jose Hernandez was a little boy, wanted to be an astronaut so bad. It consumed his whole life. And when he was in, I guess, his early 40s, he became an astronaut. Let's see, Pablo, the cellist, was asked at 81, "Why do you still practice?" "I think I'm making progress." There's something about those stories that is the same, right? There is a dream, there is a goal, right, that inspires the person to continually reach forward towards the goal. I think Christianity is supposed to be like that. I think Christianity is supposed to be like that. I think Jesus is the one that is supposed to inspire us. We're supposed to admire him and want to be like him. You've heard of hero worship, right? Well, Jesus is my hero. I worship him. I admire him. And I guess it'll be a lifelong conquest. of wishing I could be like him. Wishing that I could play life like he plays it. Well, we looked at the life of Jesus last time that we were together, and we saw two things that he said about himself, right? He said, I am meek, I am humble, I am lowly in heart. When he said I am meek, it didn't mean that he was weak, right? And when he says he is humble, it doesn't mean that he's humiliated because he's been an idiot or something like that. C.S. Lewis is a pretty famous writer. He's a contemporary of Tolkien, who did The Lord of the Rings. You remember C.S. Lewis? He wrote The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and the Chronicles of Narnia. You remember those subjects that were turned into movies, just as well as The Lord of the Rings was. C.S. Lewis said of humility, he said, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. He said, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. Jesus was a wonderful person of power and influence and intellect, and yet he did not self-promote. We live in the age of the selfie. When I was a kid growing up, we had camera. When you put film in it, you twisted the thing to get the camera ready to take a picture, and click, you took a picture. Nobody ever took selfies. If anybody took pictures of you, if somebody else took a picture of you and sent it to you. Jesus was never full of himself. I see some posting on Facebook and on YouTube, and I think, these people are full of themselves. They're not humble. They're showing off. They're showing off their body. I could get into some more of that, but I won't do that right now. But Jesus was never full of himself. He never demanded the place of honor. He never had a need for affirmation. He didn't worry about crowd popularity. He didn't care about likes and followers and subscribers. He didn't care about YouTube analytics. I can go and look at the broadcasts that I do on YouTube, and they'll tell me how many people clicked on it, how many people watched, how long each one watched, which part of the broadcast seems to be the most interesting. And so the idea is I get to really manipulate my audience by changing the way I do my broadcast, so I get more likes and I get more followers. Jesus didn't care about analytics. I don't really either. He didn't care about public opinion, and he didn't care about popularity polls. Like I said in the first part of this broadcast, Jesus is someone I want to be like. So, anyway, if you want to write to me, you can. I've got an email address. It's just for these broadcasts. And I'm not after your money. I just pray for you every day. I hope you have a great week, all right? Bye-bye now.